Hey YouTube, it's Leah. I am your Friday vlogger for the Back to Basics channel. And this week's topic is, let me read it. What is your opinion about the lifetime fat kid syndrome versus the skinny kid fat adult syndrome? Which one were you? How has it played a role in your post-op recovery? What advice do you wish you had been given before weight loss surgery regarding this? So, what is my opinion? Well, honestly, if you watch Tanya's video, that could be my video. Wow, really crazy. I have always struggled with my weight. I have been on a diet for as long as I can remember. I was never one of those kids that was, I could have been obese, but I was always just chubby. And I know that I just talked about it in my video last week about my low self-esteem. I, without a doubt, know that my low self-esteem is totally attributed to dealing with being fat my whole life. So being 42 years old and living 40 of it as a fat person, the past 2 years as a normal, or as some people would say, thin person, it's a hell of an adjustment. So, like I said, growing up, I was always that chubby kid. Fortunately for me, it didn't ever affect me in regards to doing certain things. Growing up, I was a competitive figure skater. But as I got older, I mean, I can remember being, I'm thinking maybe 12 or 13, and being put on the scale by my coach, being told to lose weight. And that's got to do some freaking damage. I was a cheerleader all throughout high school, but when I look back, I wish I would have had enough time to dig out some pictures, but I was always called fat, and like I said, I was always bigger than all my girlfriends. We couldn't like share clothes or anything. I never had to shop in the plus size department. I was just always like a 12 or a 14. Again, just real chubby. But always being told I was fat. And in high school, I mean, as a cheerleader, I was the fattest cheerleader. And again, it didn't prevent me from ever doing anything or making the team. I mean, I was still able to do the jumps and the stunts. And although I do remember that I would get teased because I don't have it as much anymore, but I got some booty. I do. My butt sticks out. And I can remember that my cheerleading skirt was always shorter in the back than it was in the front because my ass would stick out. So, anyway, in high school I didn't think that was cool, but it's probably pretty cool today. So, I think as far as being heavy my whole life going into weight loss surgery, that was one of the reasons that I chose weight loss surgery, was because I had tried everything, and I could be successful at losing weight, but I had to bust my ass to the point where it was just inconceivable to think you could live that way. And that was my decision to then have weight loss surgery. But growing up as a fat kid, my brother, Finn, to this day, he can eat anything he wants and not gain a pound. He does competitive bodybuilding. He has like I have more body fat in my big toe than he does like in his whole body. So he and I genetically, we just didn't get the same stuff. And we do look identical, so like I'm not the postman's kid or something. But I think a big part of it is genetics. My dad has always struggled with his weight. He actually was the one that loaned me the money for surgery because he got it. He knew that I had done everything possible. He'd been there before once in his life. He didn't do weight loss surgery, but he said if had that been an option for him, he would have. And so having a brother that didn't have a weight problem, I had a stepbrother and a stepsister, both of them twigs, and me being the chubby kid, I always kind of stood out. And again, I was always on a diet. I can remember being on Weight Watchers when I was like maybe 13 or 14. And I can remember throwing a Diet Faygo bottle of soda, root beer, Diet Faygo, at my brother's head and putting a hole in the wall because he drank one of my Diet Faygos and ate, I don't know, like one of my cucumbers or something. And I was so pissed because I was like, that's my food. I can't eat the same food you do. Why would you eat my stuff? So, yeah. So as a weight loss surgery patient who's always been fat, it's hard. It's really hard to make that adjustment. And I talked about it a lot last week. I don't know what it's like to be an adult and have ever been a normal weight. So I can't speak from that aspect. But one of the things I can tell you is that in my experience and talking to the people that I've talked to in the community, I agree with Tanya. It's hard. The things that, one of the questions it did pose about, what do you wish you knew now, that you didn't know before weight loss surgery? And I'd always heard that it was, a head game, a mind, as I always say, a mind fuck. And you don't really understand or are able to quantify that until you're there, or where I'm at today. Because as I said earlier, I spent 40 years being fat. I didn't know what thin was, had no comprehension. Dana talked about it. I had no idea what those numbers on the scale meant, or what it meant to wear a small or shop in these different clothing stores that I still can't go into today because I get total anxiety because I've never freaking shopped there. So I wish that I had known more about that, and that I wish I could have prepared myself better. And I'm not even sure if that's even possible, because like I said, I don't think anyone can quantify it until you're really there. But anyone who's out there that has always been fat, dude, if you don't struggle, I applaud you, because I don't know how. So fat kid syndrome, adult, skinny syndrome. Again, I can only speak for being the fat kid, and it's tough, but I wouldn't change it for the world. This surgery has given me my life back, and while I'm not totally happy with myself every day I look in the mirror, I wasn't when I was 260 either. So I'm learning, but I do want to say something real quick about what Tanya talked about, as far as, she feels like there's some scientific reason behind it why those of us who were fat kids that have weight loss surgery struggle a little bit more with like carbs and things like that, because our body processes processes them differently. I think that I agree with you, Tanya. I think you're definitely onto something there. I also think that for many of us, we fucked our bodies up dieting for all of those years. Like I said, I can remember, I think I was on my first diet, I think when I was 12 or 13. So if you can't do that to your body. I mean, I am sure I fucked my metabolism up like nobody's business. Starving myself and diet pills and oh my God, you name it. So I think that that does also play a role into it. But I definitely know that I am sensitive to carbs, for sure, without a doubt. If I totally cut out my bad carbs and I'll drop weight, bam. The minute I throw in some carbs, mashed potatoes, chips, any bad refined, carb. So anyway, okay, well, take care, everybody. And sorry, this video is totally on the fly. Have a great week, and I will see you next Friday. Bye.